Hello everyone, and welcome back to Why Not Read Some Books, or welcome to Why Not Read Some Books. And today will be part 3 of discussing and reviewing Walking in My Joy in These Streets from Jenifer Lewis. These chapters will be very quick, so this video won't be as long as part 2. If you haven't checked out part 1 and part 2, I will link them down below. So definitely pause this video, go check out part 1 and part 2, and then come to part 3, so that way you can truly know what I'm talking about or understand the flow of things. I highly recommend, if you haven't purchased this book, get the book or the Audible so you can catch up, because part 4 will be posted on this Thursday or Friday, and then on Sunday I will be starting on the second book. So hurry up and finish with both books for the month of February. But before I jump into this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and feel free to join in, leave a comment to discuss this book. So for part 3, I will be talking about Drag Queen in My Basement, Captain of My Ship, and 2020 Wait a Minute Though. And there are a couple of poems or spoken words in between that, like I always say, I would like for you guys to check those out. But without further ado, I'm going to get right into discussing these chapters. So the first chapter that I want to discuss in this video is Drag Queen in My Basement. And basically this is kind of a continuation of how she was dealing with Ronnie's death and how someone new came into her life. So this is talking about more so how she met DJ Pierce, which is also known as Shangela. Shangela is very well known drag queen, has been on RuPaul's Drag Queen race, friend to a lot of the stars, but it just talks about the humble beginnings of how they met. He started out as her assistant, and then he blew up when he did all of the drag races and stuff like that. And this chapter here kind of hit a little personal for her, because even though things have came along when it comes to rights for the LGBTQ plus community, there's still prejudice and a lot of hate towards them still going on today. However, she kind of highlights the difference between DJ Pierce and Ronnie, how DJ Pierce is able to live more in freedom and live out his life versus Ronnie, but there's still bigotry and hatred that he experienced, because DJ Pierce is from Paris, Texas. So you know how small towns are, you know how church folks can be, you know how you have people that are trying to tell you how you're living isn't the right way. And then it just so happens that it touches on the night of the Pulse nightclub shooting, how one of DJ Pierce's friends was a part of those that passed away in that nightclub. And I like the fact that she listed every nightclub shooting victim, their name, their full name, and their ages. She also talks about how she was very scared when she saw that, because DJ Pierce was off performing at a drag queen show that night. So she comforted him, and just they comforted each other pretty much. And then after that there's spoken word. And so Captain of My Ship circles back to 2016, the night of the election. She was very hopeful, but she thought that, Trump was not going to win. And then when she woke up the next day, reality set in. And so both her and DJ Pierce held each other, because he felt very scared and fearful because of what was to come due to the change, that the atmosphere, it felt more hateful. As you all know, what transpired between 2016 and 2020. I'm not gonna go into that, but it talks about how she went on a cruise to Antarctica and she met a group of young performers from all over the world, and during this cruise she got a lot of different perspective from people who was on the outside of the US looking in, and how our reputation had changed for the worse. Like, so many people wanted to move to the US, you know, to have a better life, a better quality of life. But once they were seeing all of the police brutality, human rights violations, and other things that have been taking place, they were like, well, we need to get our shit together. And also, she met the captain, and the captain basically was like, okay, I heard you're an activist, so I need you to go back and speak to whomever and just let them know that climate change is real. He was basically saying that for her to go back to her country and tell whoever will listen that in fact we are in trouble, and that the Arctic is melting at the speed of light. A lot of people, we all know, don't believe in climate change, but I personally feel like that it is so real. So while she was there, she realized what she needed to do in regards to using her platform even more. And she wrote like a poem or spoken word, a song per se, and posted it on her Instagram feed. She said, feeling like a revolutionary, she had a platform and a plan. And so what she did was, every opportunity that she had, if she went to an event, she wanted to speak out about climate change, about police brutality, support different causes. So this chapter basically hits on how she realized, okay, I really need to step it up and do something. She also has another poem at the end of this particular chapter. And then 2020, wait a minute though. This was on New Year's Eve 2019. So this chapter here is really very funny because this is a dream, but it's like her inner self is telling her like, hey, a change is coming, but not for the better. And you really need to prepare yourself. You need to take reign. You need to, lead us out of the darkness, pretty much. So she went to see Star Wars. So I can see why her dream was very alienish, UFO. So basically she found herself in a black forest, a part of her dream, and that she was approached by a little alien dude who said that she was their queen, and that upon birth she was beamed to earth by evil forces, and that they were coming to take her back to planet Varititas. Baby, I can't pronounce it. But she was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. So then the captain came and was really trying to convince her to go back. And they were telling her there is a great sickness, a great war, a burning, that which you call the blank people will rise up. Beware the beast. So that's what he was warning her. But she was like, I'm not with all this. I'm not with all this nonsense. I ain't dying for nobody. I ain't going nowhere. So then when the commander, which has the most ghettoest name, Shaniqua Ben Kenobi. I tell you, this chapter is full of, it's very hilarious, but in a quirky way, I can understand why they came to her in that dream, because she's sassy, she's spunky, she's a little ghetto. So she said that the commander in perfect Ebonics was talking to her, telling her to calm down, and that they didn't have much longer on Earth because they was about to run out of gas, and how high gas prices was on that planet. Like, really? And then in this chapter, there are pictures of all of different phases in her career, being on the cover of Essence. So you really get to see her, even her and her siblings when they were little. Her in a little nice little two-piece shimmery outfit. I mean, her in Antarctica. I mean, different places. A little nudity. So don't let your kid read this book. But just different phases. Even all of the animated characters that she's done. I was quite surprised when I saw all of the characters. But hey, it fits her. So basically, they told her, Queen Louis, we will leave you here on Earth. There will be so much pain, but humankind will overcome. She lifted a giant handbook out of her front pocket, and she was saying she don't know where that book came from because the outfit she had on was skin tight. That was hilarious. But I'm going to end this chapter by reading some of the phrases that she read from that handbook. And I feel like this will kind of resonate with someone else as well. It says, love yourself, then love will not be a stranger when it comes. Everything that occurs for the purpose of enlightenment. When the teacher can bow to the student, the real work can begin. Human laughter creates the vibrant colors of Nubulus. Walk in your joy and tell Keisha she still owes you $5. You already know it was going to end with something crazy. And then she says she opens her eyes and it's January 1st, 2020. And then there is another spoken word or poem in here. And so I'm going to end this on that note, and I will pick back up and close out this book on Friday or Saturday. But I highly recommend you read this book. I'm going to say it over and over because it's very funny. Me discussing it and talking about it really doesn't give it justice. I feel like once you read this, you will definitely read it in her mannerisms, in her voice, and her tone. You can actually picture her reading this or saying some of the things that she said in this book. And I like the fact that she's going in and out, going backwards and then to current events, just taking you on a journey of things that she experienced, her thoughts, how it was certain things was affecting her mentally, emotionally, different people who came into her life. She talked about how she wanted to support Colin Kaepernick, and you can read in here in regards to how she did that. So yeah, get the book, read it. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, until we meet again.